Hello and welcome. This is Dr. Shaheen Ghadir, and I'm an expert in the world of fertility, the area that I love and have deep passion for. I have helped thousands of people around the globe start their beautiful families, and in this podcast, The Fertile Life, I interview guests about their paths to parenthood and dive into discussions around how the road to becoming a parent shapes us. Also looking at the balance between family and many responsibilities life demands from us. And we'll be discussing the challenges that we encounter along the way. Through insightful conversations, I hope to create a guide for listeners in all stages of life and break many stigmas often associated with fertility. We will also share all the health and wellness tips my guests and I have learned over the years. Follow along as I take you on a journey towards the fertile life. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fertile Life podcast. I am incredibly excited today to have Caroline Stanbury here. Very recently, we got a chance to speak about a lot of important things that are important to her that are very important to me as well. We talked about her fertility, her desire to possibly be a mom again in the future and to keep doors open for herself. And as an ambitious female, I am very proud that she had addressed some of these things. And I'm excited to talk to her today about a lot of different things. Caroline, one of the things I love to do is have my guests kind of introduce themselves to my audience and do a little introduction so everyone knows exactly who you are and what you do and what you're the most proud of.
Well, my name's Caroline Stanbury. I guess what do I do now? I have a podcast too called Divorced Not Dead, but I came from sort of reality background in Ladies of London and a business background. So I had a big business before, gift library in London and international business, and that's it now. So I'm busy working and I'm a brand ambassador. I'm a mother of 3 kids. I live in Dubai. I'm very busy, but it's good.
That's wonderful. And she's very humble too, because she does a million different things, this woman, and makes it look so effortless and so easy. And she always looks beautiful doing it as well.
Thank you. I try. It's not, I know, I do. I look at my own stories sometimes and go, God, it looks so fun. And then sometimes you're like, I do want to tell people that, everybody struggles. Everybody has issues and things with life and the things that don't go right. And Instagram is a moment of a time, but that is genuinely my life as well, because I do run Instagram like in a way, it's an extension of the TV show that I had before, and you see everything. But I've just always done, don't sweat the small stuff. You can fix most things. Things that you think are going to collapse you, generally don't. You grow stronger for them.
That is such an important thing, because I think that so many of us, including unfortunately myself, do take those little things and sometimes make them into much bigger things. And in the big picture, those little things should not be sweat over, and life goes on and life is really good. And we forget how lucky we are. It takes moments that we really are in deep pain to sometimes realize how lucky we are. But that's a great attitude, and I love that. And being a mom of 3 and being so active, you must be laid back and easygoing, or else life can become incredibly difficult.
Well, I mean, I have 2 sides to me. One is laid back and easygoing, and then the other is a control freak. Because I think, and that's what I'm learning to do. I've put a vision board up now to sort of see all the things I'm working on, because you're right, I have so many hats at the moment and it's kind of a crazy time for me. So I need to sort of refocus myself. And I think as a mother and a parent and people that are going through things, like say you're going through your fertility treatment, it's weirdly that stuff you kind of ride through, and then you get home and you see, I don't know, a hand mark on the wall and you lose your shit. So, it's learning. It's so weird, because that's exactly how I am. I can be going through like the most monstrous things at home and then get home and like the kids have spilt ketchup somewhere and I have a complete mental breakdown. But I didn't break down because, I'm not having a baby. It's the weirdest way, it's a coping mechanism I think people have.
I think we have a lot more in common than we actually knew about, because I will go to work and make multiple people pregnant and do everything I can to make this world a better place, and come home and like see that one little thing that will just like and lose it. And that's the absolute wrong thing to do.
But it's so embarrassing. Because
I
you're
know,
like,
but we're
doing
humans. But we're humans, and
that.
you're not the only one like that. And I think we all can improve in those areas. Um, I love the people that do that really better than I do. But we have to learn. We have to learn. And I think that we're always learning. I'm coming up with a big birthday this year, the big 50, and it's kind of hitting reality. And I've realized that every single day I'm still learning. There's so much more to learn. And I think you're at a really horrible place when you kind of think you know it all. And I try to learn different tactics and different ways of dealing with my kids all the time. Please tell us, you have 3 kids. I want to know their ages again.
Two 10-year-old boys and a 14-year-old daughter. And it's, I just find like what people don't understand, you've got three individual humans, not three, I think people, even my ex-husband, I think, has the Waltons in his head, that we all have dinner together and that you would have like these beautiful breakfasts together. And if that's not happening, it's something that we've done, right? But it's not true. Today's age doesn't work like that. It's like, the teenage girl doesn't want to eat the same time as the boys. The boys hate the girl. The two boys are twins. They hate each other. They don't want to go on a play date together. I mean, it's like every day is a minefield with them.
So this is, I think, we can talk and talk about this for so long because I have a 12-year-old daughter. I have 9-year-old boy girl twins and an
The same.
almost 4-year-old little girl as well. And it's so different. I did have breakfast with my whole family sitting around the table. And my mom would be at the counter quickly making our lunches and sit down for a little bit and quick finish our lunches. And then we'd come home and my dad was there and we'd all be sitting and having dinner together. So I don't know. Those days change so rapidly. I think
But
I
it doesn't
have,
now. Why? I
I
can't do
know.
that. I can't get them all to sit at the table. One jumps up, the other one gets down. You just kind of, you're just looking around. It's only you left, and you're like, okay.
It's so true. And I am going to blame a lot of this on technology, electronics, and everything. My son just was having breakfast with or dinner with me right now, and he could not wait to get out and be going back to his computer.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's insane. Mine too. Mine keeps it there. I say no, no technology at the table. They turn it over, but you can hear that ping, ping, and they're like, you can see they don't even want to finish their meal. And, they're like, why do I have to eat? I don't want to eat. And then they run off, and it's so painful that you're like, this is the worst. This
So
is the worst.
I think the good thing about talking about this out loud is that everyone is in the same situation. I've talked to friend after friend after friend. I talked to patients of mine and colleagues of mine, and I think everyone's in the same situation. And unfortunately, this last year has made things a lot worse.
It's like,
Kids, yeah, they need to go to school, they need to run around, they need to come home tired, not get up, walk over 3 feet, sit at a computer for 8 hours, and then us expect them to be completely normal and calm, cool, and collected.
and like this all the time. I mean, I can't even imagine the back, what their backs are going to look like. It drives me nuts. I'm trying to get my son to lie on the floor and at least put it over his head, so
That's
he's flat. I don't know what to do.
that's so interesting. Well, with all of that being said, and how much we love our kids, I love the fact that you're still thinking
We
about putting.
forgot that. We
I
love our
think,
kids.
guys, I think we forgot to say something, and we still, and with all of that being said, we still love them.
We
Um,
do.
we still love them, and it's like one of those things you never ask a woman in the hospital after she delivered, does she want to have another baby?
No.
And and maybe there's times when you don't ask people, but with all of that being said, the love and joy that kids bring you um, is still worth the world. And I love the fact that you've been so smart and you entered into a really beautiful relationship that you're really happy with and you've thought about your future. And I really want to touch on that today because I think there's so many women out there that need to hear what a smart woman like yourself did to protect her future and her
I
fertility.
literally just got off the phone when you were texting me this morning from my girlfriend who lives around the corner in LA, and I told her to get down to your office, and she's coming. I was like, "What better? What else have you got to do? You can't date. There's nothing else to do. You may as well go down there."
I had so many people this so about 20 to 25%, maybe even up to 30% of our practice were international patients. And during the pandemic, we hit a couple months that we were completely closed. And when we opened up again, you know what? We had the busiest year ever in the history of Southern California Reproductive Center because so many people were like, well, I'm home. I'm not doing anything. There's no way to date really effectively. Why don't I freeze my eggs? Why don't I freeze my embryos? Why don't I try to get pregnant? So I think this pandemic has actually been good for people in terms of bringing some things to their attention that maybe they didn't have the time to address before, or either the desire to address before. So I think we're really really lucky in that it has done that for people. Um, let's talk about that. I really want to address it a little bit, and also go ahead and talk about your process, what your decision making factors were to freeze your eggs, why you want to do more, which I think is brilliant. Let's talk about this a little bit.
I mean, for me, like I had never, when I got divorced, it was not to get remarried or anything, and I wasn't expecting to meet Sergio, and if I did meet Sergio, I thought he would be like, a little bit of fun to get back on the horse after 18 years of marriage. I wasn't expecting a Sergio to stick around with three children, my crazy house, three dogs, a bit, bearded dragon, and a tortoise. So, and he's, when I met him, he was what, 20, 24 and a bit. So he was young to come into all of that. I didn't know everybody that's listening to me and judging me right now. He told me he was 31, but Benjamin Button lost quite a few years. But as it happens, it's worked for whatever reason, and he's made me rethink things. First of all, I wouldn't have. I would have been happy, or in my head, I was thinking 5 years with him, 10 years, whatever it is, and he could still move on and start a family with someone that could do that with him later. But we have fallen in love. We are together, and we are like he has taken on everything, like everything I have, and he's taken it on, full. So he deserves it. He obviously wants to plan his future, and his future he needs to have a child, be that with, and he wants that to be with me. Now, even if he's not ready today, which and I'm 44 right now, and I'm 45 in April actually. So, I don't have that long. And, that's become very apparent to both of us. And, so that's when we started thinking about it, because at least coming to see somebody like yourself, at least I can buy myself a few years. I did try it here. I, haven't got that many eggs, but I would like to come and do it again. But at least I could, at least buy myself another couple of years. I would want him to be a little bit older, just to, he's 26, about to be 27 this year. So 8, 9 would be good for him. I don't want to push him into something because my eggs have, shriveled up. But yes, that's what it's really him. And I think I want people to know that too, because I think people see an older divorced woman and they think we're all desperate to get remarried and have babies, and that's just not so. But with him, he's made me rethink that, because obviously I love him and he deserves a child, and we would make lovely children.
You would. You're going to make beautiful children, first of all. Secondly, I have to say that's very selfless, and I think you're showing the true definition of love, that you do things for people that you love. And I think that being able to offer him that dream of having a child, which is a very realistic, I don't think it's in any way unreasonable that he's asking that and from anyone. And I think
No,
the fact
he's
that you've
asking
done,
for one. He's not saying
yeah,
to go on and have a family of six. He's just saying I need to have one baby, which everyone's entitled to have that.
absolutely. And I think that was so incredibly smart. Now, the doors are open. We have already had patients arriving from Dubai at my office. There are some here right now. So you
Really?
can get, yes, absolutely. And we had even someone come during the pandemic too. So I don't want to hear any more excuses. I want to see you here as soon as possible, because at the age of 44, 45 is kind of like the age where it's really almost getting very difficult to still make good quality eggs. We have had, I think 45 was the oldest that we've had someone be able to use their own egg to get pregnant, whether later or at that time. Once we've had people get pregnant at 46, 47, but unfortunately, when it was with their own egg, it didn't last. And usually the quality goes down. And if anyone's telling you that at 46, 47, 48, they can get you pregnant with their own egg, I would be very weary of that.
No
And
one's
we,
telling me anything. I do know I need to get there. I'm going to UK now, and I'm planning to come this summer. So I'm coming. It's just a timing issue. It's not
oh,
like you're around the corner. 17 hours.
I
Got to.
know.
I had a patient of mine text me before she got on the before she got on the plane. And then hours and hours, like the next day when I woke up in the middle of the day, I said something to her, hope you landed. She's like, I'm still in the air. So that is a long flight. That is a very, very long flight. But we are waiting for you to come, and I think it's going to be incredibly important for you to do so. So I want you to actually, for a second, give the advice that you would give to your young self. So if someone is in similar shoes as you, maybe not married and maybe looking for the future and wants to keep options available, what would you tell that person right now? I'm not talking only about their fertility, by the way. I'm talking about relationships. Your podcast is amazing. It lets people know that there is life that goes on. But I'm just really curious what advice you would have given someone like yourself maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago in your life.
Well, I mean, it's funny that you said earlier that you feel like a bit of a, you realize as you get older how much you don't know. And when you're in your 20s, you think you know everything, which is why I also am so funny about Sergio, because I'm not belittling his feelings for me in any way, shape, or form, because whatever he's going through right now, he truly is in it and in love. But I do realize, having been through with my younger self, that when you're young, things change. You don't think they will, but they change. And so what I would say to a young girl is to be prepared to, first of all, wait. There's no need to get married in your early 20s and, as we discussed, anymore. I think, the trouble is with that, you're forming who you are. By the time we get married, we're only 5 years out of really being a teen. So, as teenagers, you're a child, you're living with your parents, you're still like figuring out the drinking and the drugs, and you haven't even got to the sex really. And if you have, it's like at the very tail, beginning of it. And then suddenly you leave a teen and you're meant to be married and have a child. It actually doesn't make any sense. You should then, be your living self and understand who you are. And that's what I think when people go into long-term relationships in their early 20s that form them, they don't get to learn who they are because you take on this, somebody else takes on the role telling you who you are again. I've always had this relationships with men where, I've let men lead me. So I think that to tell yourself to take time to do something like this, it's not saying that you can't. And I think this is the important thing, is just telling people that having your eggs frozen isn't saying I can't, I've got bad eggs now, or, I can't get pregnant, or, I'm going to have a problem. It's just an insurance policy. We all take an insurance policy out on, death and all of these things that may or may not happen. If you get hit by a bus, God forbid, none of us will. But we have an insurance policy. This is an insurance policy, so that it gives us the freedom and that we're not running around. And I actually makes me, because people go, how did you meet Sergio? And oh my God, I've been single for years and I haven't been able to meet a man. And it's because probably you come off desperate. Because, there's a suddenly certain age, there's an influx of 30-something-year-old women that I see everywhere that haven't done anything, that are in a blind panic now to get married, to have babies, to like complete their life cycle very quickly. And they're thinking, shit. But instead, all these divorced women are coming in and taking their men, because the divorced women are like, oh, I've got kids. I don't want that. I don't need your money. I don't really want, more kids. And the guys are going, oh, she's great. I'm just going to have fun with her. And then suddenly that turns into love because all the pressure's gone. So you can, by taking that pressure of the life cycle away from yourself, you can become this free, easy bird that gets what she wants.
And I think that's important, because not only do you get what you want, but you learn about yourself and you learn who you are, and you're not molded into what you're supposed to be. And that allows you to make the decisions smarter for yourself down the line. I really, when I don't want to keep taking it back to egg freezing, but it is such an important thing. It is such an important thing that keeps doors open for women and allows them to be who they need to be when they need to be it, and not put any pressure, societal pressure on them, familial pressure on them, in order that you have to be a mom now. I think we talked about this on your podcast, how, our moms all had kids in their 20s. And, as you just said right now, we are so I'm just going to say it, dumb when we're in our 20s. We think we know everything. We know nothing. We think we've seen it all. We've seen nothing. You've barely had any ups and downs. You barely had anything in your life. And you're making these grandiose decisions in life. So I think that it is beyond important that once you're getting to an age where you want to start learning who you are and discovering the world and people around you and having relationships, to not allow the factor about your eggs and your fertility take over. And that's the one amazing thing we have about this option. And I've had very smart people come to me, and we kind of use the number 30. If you don't have someone in your life at 30, it's a time to do it. Then go enjoy life. And I think when you least expect it, I had a patient of mine call me the other day and she said, Dr. Ghadir, do you remember me? I said, yes, you used to always come in with your mom. And she said, yes. She said, remember me 7 years ago? She's like, I was so incredibly worried about my future. And once I froze my eggs, I went off and worked on my career. And before I knew it, I met someone and they just came back in together as happy as could be. She was shocked that I remembered her mom, but I remember her really clearly. And now she comes with her husband and they're working on making their family and using those frozen eggs that she had. So a perfect example of how this can change someone's life kind of moving forward.
Yeah, it's taking men can smell desperation a mile away. And it's very unattractive. It's very unattractive. I can't tell you, because it sort of makes you erratic. It makes you kind of like skitsy. And I see it in women. I see it, and I'm a woman. So I'm saying it from a place of love. Like I just sit there and I watch them sort of pounce on these men because they need something. And it's so sad because you're like, if you just sat back a minute and let life happen to you, it will come. Because it can't be that all these, I know so many divorced women who get remarried, so many, and so many single women who have driven themselves to a point of insanity, trying to make themselves into something that a man wants, and instead making themselves crazy people. And, I want to shake them and just say, you just need to relax and it will happen. It really, really will.
I love that piece of advice, but if you had to give a little bit more of solid advice to a woman who is in her 30s and really wants to settle down and meet someone, what other advice would you give? I get this question asked of me all the time as a fertility doctor, as women freeze their eggs and are like, Dr. Ghadir, if you think of anyone, don't forget to, introduce me. Of course, that's not my place and I'm not really good at that. But I'm just curious from your perspective, a very, very smart woman that I respect your opinion. What would you tell that woman? Where to go? What to do? How to meet someone?
The list. Get rid of the list that you have in your head, because you're not perfect and nobody is. And you need to remember that. And I think women have a list of what they think exists or what they need. And, if I had a list, Sergio wouldn't be on it. A 20-something ex-soccer player, if I listened to society, I'd be like, a desperate old woman who's looking for, a toy boy, whatever. If I can tell you how mature he is and what he does around my house with my kids, and like, you can't make this up. You can't force someone to be like this for 2 years with living with your children, and life. This is real, and I wouldn't have given him a chance. So I think get rid of the list. Life is hard enough as it is. Open your heart to other people, to different types of people that maybe you wouldn't have thought of before. Because when the right person comes in, they kind of just fit into your life. And also, if you have to try too hard, it's the wrong person. Like if you have to force them into being a certain way, it's the wrong person. Because the right one just kind of gels. Life just goes on around you. So I would definitely say open yourself up to that. I mean, I mean, like from everything to even religion, like all of these parameters we put around ourselves, you can work everything out if it's the right person. And today, even, people can move. You're not trees. You can move state. You can move, you just have to be open. Where to go? I mean, it's very, I'm talking about this with my sister right now, and she's in the same position, and she's younger and she's divorced, and it's a nightmare because she's like, there is no way to date. So I can't, I was talking about it this morning with my single girlfriend in LA, because I was like, you go to a restaurant and there's a glass barrier between you. You can't, we used to all sit around and talk to each other's tables and sort of like, oh, there'll be a hot guy over there and you could wander over. You can't do that anymore. She said you need a COVID test to go on a date with someone now. I mean, how unsexy is that? I don't know. I'm actually really honestly thinking about starting my own dating agency where I handpick the people myself, because like the old fashioned way, because, so many people are asking me. I don't know. I really don't know where you go.
People ask me the same question. All of the women that freeze their eggs ask me the same things about, do you know anyone? And I said, I don't. And they're just kind of lost where to go. So I think that advice that you just gave was brilliant.
Of course.
Open yourself up. You have this narrow vision of, since you were 20 years old, who you wanted, what you wanted. And I think it's time to open it up. And I think it's time to open your horizons. And I think taking barriers like religion and location, I had a friend. Yeah, but listen, listen, of course, everyone wants to live a comfortable life. I know many people that when they got married had nothing and now are multimillionaires together.
Well, that's the other thing. I think, when I got divorced, everyone expected me to be with an older divorcee with a super yacht and a private plane. I chose a 20-something-year-old guy that no matter how successful he was when he was playing soccer, he's not where I am, right? Yet. He's in his 20s. He can't possibly be. But I decided in my head that I will do it myself. And if you are in love and you work hard as a team, you become a team. The house, everything will grow together. And I think if there's love and support, I know that through these years, I will support him in what he wants to do and where he is in life. And it's amazing. And I see him flourishing now, and it's an incredible thing to watch. And he's so in awe of the stuff that I teach him as well, which is great. And we really are a team like that. But again, I have so many women going, oh my God, he's amazing. Sergio's incredible. You're so lucky. How did you meet him? I'm like, look, you wouldn't have looked at him. He's not rich enough for you. He didn't, he's not established enough for you. He's still like starting. But, I took that chance and it's panned out for me.
Yeah. And you know what? That's so true, because there's so many instances when I know of someone that's single, and I thought of someone that maybe had wanted to go out with them. And I'm like, she never would have married that person anyways. And he turned out to be like the nicest husband, the best husband in the world, made someone so incredibly happy. And that person, I'm like, she never even would have looked at him.
It's so sad. And I think money needs to come out of the equation too, because for me, the old fashioned way of living as well, where the man pays for everything, I think is so dead and buried. I never wanted that anyway. I never knew whether my husband was worth £1 or 50 million. I have no clue. Never asked, never was important to me. I had my own credit cards, whatever. So, and his money is his money. Why is it mine? So, for me, when I go into this with Sergio, we always said, if I marry Sergio, we will have two, our prenups. And I'm fine with that. And we both walk out with whatever we both had at the beginning, and with anything we made together in between, we'll split. But he's my cherry, he's not my cake, and vice versa. And I think, why should, if he suddenly makes a shitload of money, why am I entitled to all of it? If he wants to give it to me, that's amazing. But I think that has ruined so much of the world today. If we just took out that and understood realistically how hard it is to make money, that you can have a great life if you build it together. And what are we actually fighting for? Because you can't hug money at night. Money is.
Oh, I was literally waiting for you to stop talking to say that. Please say it.
You can't hug money at night. At the end of the day, it's a means to get what we want. But at the end, my house is furnished. Do I need another house? Not really. I can rent them. It's just a headache. I don't want more than I have. If I travel, I get to go business class. It's wonderful. Do I need to be first class? No. I really don't. I've got 3 kids. So, maybe when I was younger, and that's what's so interesting, I probably did want all that. Now I don't. I really don't care anymore. I just want, I have an amazing boyfriend who literally has made the world go, oh my God, he went Tampax shopping for my daughter at 11 p.m. at night.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
definitely love.
it
But
is.
I loved what you said. You don't hug money at night. I really want to just touch base for a second about your podcast and how I think it's so great. And I want you to tell people that are just listening now a little bit more about it.
Well, Divorce Not Dead came about obviously when I got divorced, and it was a life according to Caroline, and I changed it just after I got divorced because I think I am very matter of fact, and I talk about a lot of things I think that women find hard to talk about, or are still ashamed or embarrassed or feel the stigma to. I mean, one of my favorite podcasts that I've just done was with Susan Sarandon, and hers, if there's any of my episodes to listen to, please turn this one on because it's advice to your younger self. And it was just listening to her, I'm in awe of her. But she says things like, first of all, she had a boyfriend that was 35 years younger than her back in that day.
Wow.
35. So like she was like so ahead of her time. But she's saying, we need to keep a sense of humor because we do get so into the small stuff, and if we need to look at it, take yourself out of the stress sometimes and look at it like a sitcom. And if we were in a sitcom, this would be hilarious. And she's right. And that all of these people that are driving you nuts right now aren't going to mean anything to you in 10 years. And don't give them that power and that time and focus on yourself. And, she's so open with what she wants now. And I said to her, what do you look for now? And she's like, anyone that's got anyone that's healthy, man, woman, whatever. She doesn't care anymore. The list doesn't exist for her. So if you could listen to that one, and mine is also things like, I've got one called I Now Pronounce You Ex-Wife. I think just understanding that there's no shame in divorce, and I keep saying this, it's taking the power back for yourself. Like, I could have made it work. He could have made it work. But why do you need to sit somewhere you're not totally happy or yourself? I needed this time. He needs this time. Whether my ex-husband likes it or not, he's happier now. He's happier now. It's mourning the loss of your family unit more than the loss of the person that normally is the difficult part. But actually, we're better co-parents, I think, because, we get a break. We both get a break, which is quite nice. And, we've really worked hard at keeping a friendship. So as I said, we had dinner last week with my new boyfriend and my daughter. And
Wow.
my ex-husband really sees how good Sergio is with the kids. Like, he's great with my kids. And so I think, he understands, like, in a great way, this could benefit, or this is a good thing for all of us.
That's
So
wonderful.
yeah, I think if people are losing hope or things, please go listen to it and understand that it's never too late. It's all attitude, it's all confidence, it's believing in yourself, and it's just finding the right partner out there.
And we only have one life. And we only have one life to be the happiest person that we can be and to do everything we can in our life to make us as happy as we can be.
There's
Um,
no do-over.
no. Well, I got to tell you, I always love talking to you. And I think I could go on and on and on. You make me smile and you make me feel so good about, if just everyone could be like that, this world would be such a better place if we can all have a little bit of your good attitude.
I need to take a chill pill.
Take a chill pill. If you see a stain on the wall, it can be washed off. Okay. That's the advice we're going to leave people. It's fantastic to talk to you. I've loved listening to some of the episodes of your podcast. I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate you being open about everything in your life, because that teaches so many other women how to be strong and how to be smart and how to do everything that they need to do. So thank you again for being here.
Thank
I
you for
hope
having
that you can come to LA soon and we can make the fertile life a part of your life. Okay. And we can go to a restaurant and have a piece of plastic between us. Hopefully not. Okay. So we can't wait till you come out here. Thank you again for being with me for this hour.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening today. If you've enjoyed listening, please feel free to write a review. Also, feel free to follow my Instagram at Dr. Shaheen Ghadir and message me if you need help setting up a consultation. Look forward to speaking to you soon, and I would love to help you start your family.